So it starts with our boy Suwoo doing what every high schooler thinks is a good idea. He confesses to the class baddie, telling her that he liked her since day one. The girl is standing there with that hesitant expression, and our boy immediately jumps to conclusions, thinking she hates it because of his weight. She tries to let him down easy, saying he's funny and sensible, so there's no reason to hate him. But then comes the classic friend zone excuse about wanting to focus on studies. Man, that one hurts every time. So our boy takes the L and walks back to his best friend, who's like, yo, how'd it go? And Sue stood there with tears in his eyes and told him about the rejection. His friend is all mad about how the girl made a lame excuse because apparently she has never shown any interest in studies whatsoever. While they're walking and processing this emotional damage, a ball comes flying towards Suwoo, and our boy catches it with one hand without even looking. Bro's farming some serious aura here. The player runs over asking if he's okay. All teary, our boy asks his homie why he is overweight when he does everything right. His friend says that he is curious too because Sue was incredible at sports, never overeats, and exercises regularly, and if everyone put in half the effort this kid does, the world would be full of fit people. He suggests visiting a doctor, but Sue's already been down that road multiple times. The doctors told him if he can't lose weight despite all his efforts, it must be genetic. Back at his apartment, our boy's looking at this family picture. Beautiful mom and a dad who went to get milk and never came back. His father was apparently some Korean wrestling legend with crazy strength and a wall full of awards. His mom had once told him that his dad was the kind of guy who could build muscle just by thinking about it, stating that all this hard work isn't paying off for a second. Our boy thinks, you know what? Screw this salad. I'm going to eat something good for once. Nothing I do matters anyway. But then when push comes to shove, he doesn't have the guts to do it and sticks to his discipline. Later that night, he's out driving in the streets, and his device tells him he's broken his own record. While he's venting his frustration about his classmate and pushing his limits, he doesn't even realize how far he's gone from home. Just as he's about to check where the hell he is, some old man sitting on a bridge railing comments on his speed, says it's pretty impressive for someone his size. Maybe it comes from his genes. Then this crazy grandpa jumps 15 feet from the bridge like he's in an action movie or something, scaring the hell out of our boy. The old man introduces himself as Grandpa Bogeyman, the one responsible for keeping an eye on all the demons of Korea. Sue's standing there confused, wondering if this dude has some screw loose or something, so Grandpa decides to show rather than tell and swooshes them to another dimension. Our boy has no idea what's happening, but then his eyes go wide because he's surrounded by monsters from all sides. The old man explains that this place is the demon realm and everyone who can enter is a demon. He starts going on about how demons used to be worshipped, but now they're just superstition. Continuing his explanation, Gramps told our boy that every 666 years there's this tournament to choose the demon king. Every demon species sends their best fighter, and the current king's about to get dethroned. Sue interrupts him, asking, what the hell does any of this have to do with me? Gramps continues his explanation, telling him that every demon family has to send a candidate, and Sue got chosen because he's the only person left with goblin blood running through his veins. Sue is trying to tell him he's got the wrong guy, but before he can finish explaining, a scary demon jumps right next to him. This monster called Big Mouth starts talking about how he hopes to eat Suwoo if he wins because it's been 666 years since he tasted human flesh. Seeing his ugly mug, our boy almost passes out, but then Big Mouth kicks our boy thinking he's a football or something and sends him flying. Suwoo flies in the air for some time and then crashes to the ground. While Sue was getting his ass handed to him, Gramps thought that it was the right time to tell him that he needs to prove himself to earn his spot in the competition, meaning even though he's the last goblin alive, he's got to survive this beatdown to qualify. Meanwhile, Big Mouth was still treating our boy as a ball, yanking him all over the field, and this bastard had the audacity to comment how he didn't think that Sue would last this long. After beating our boy to a pulp, Big Mouth was ready for a snack. Well, given the size of our boy, he won't have to eat for months afterwards. He sticks out his slimy tongue and went to grab Sue. But then something crazy happens. Sue actually blocks the attack. Gramps goes into his monologue and starts explaining how since ancient times goblins were famous for learning skills through pure instinct. Their bodies just adapt to whatever they need at the moment. And sure enough, a powerful aura starts coming off Sue as he not only blocks Big Mouth's attacks, but also starts fighting back, and our boy drops the fat suit and shows up shredded. Man went from moon size to moonlighting as a Greek god. Now that his goblin genes are fully awakened, Sue flips the Big Mouth of the ground and slams him right back like he weighs nothing. As the dust clears, he was standing there like a badass looking at the sky, while the big dude was completely out of the picture. The next day, there's our boy Sue back to his chubby self, hanging out with his friend like nothing happened. He's telling his buddy about last night's crazy demon wrestling match, which he's convinced was just some wild dream. But when he mentions how he flipped that monster after getting his ass kicked, his friend gives him this weird look and says, dude, that's strange. People usually dream about stuff they actually do. And Sue hasn't touched wrestling in forever. Our boy's sitting there with this thoughtful expression, saying how vivid the whole thing was, like he could actually fight again if someone asked him to. His friend just laughs and tells him not to get ahead of himself. Sue sighs and agrees, thinking maybe he's so obsessed with losing weight that his brain decided to dream about gaining muscles instead of fat for once. But then in the blink of an eye, our guy finds himself right back in that demon realm. The old man walks up to him with a white-haired baddie who tells Sue he passed out after his fight but woke up earlier than expected. And our poor boy is still in denial mode, staring at that monster corpse trying to convince himself this isn't real. His mind's flooding with questions like how the hell do I get home? And what happens to my chubby body now that I've got muscles? Gramps turns to the girl and asks for her opinion, and man, this girl is not impressed. She's all disgusted, calling our boy that thing, and says how even though he has goblin blood, he had almost lost to someone who could barely be called a demon at all. Apparently this type of demon is all brute force, no magic, so when it comes to facing real demons, our boy's gonna get wrecked. Eager to get the hell out of there, Sue asks the old man if he can go home now that he has proved himself. The old man told him that he had come up with a decision while he was asleep, and the verdict is that he has to do it once more. Meanwhile, the demons were impressed seeing Sue knock out his opponent in one hit. They think his body might be hiding some serious power. They were even more amazed to see a goblin fight after ages. The old man slams his cane on the ground for dramatic effect and declares that our boy isn't human but a demon, then orders everyone to spread the news far and wide. The old man then turns to our boy and explains that by listing him as a demon instead of a human, no demon will dare hurt or try to eat him. That's cool and all, but Sue just wants to go home, man. The girl scoffs at his naivety and tells him that now that he has been registered as a demon, he can't return to the human world unless he's 500 years old and skilled enough to hide his true identity. 500 years, folks. Our boy's going to miss a lot of gaming updates. Sue insists he's completely harmless and won't cause trouble even if he goes back. The buggyman told our boy that if he insists on going back, he has no choice but to kill him. He then lets out his killing intent, but to everyone's surprise, including his own, Sue instinctively jumps backward, dodging the attack like some kind of Matrix move. The old man, then stroking his beard, asks our boy if he gets it now. Whether he considers himself to be a human or not doesn't matter now that his body has already become that of a monster. He then starts explaining how Sue has no idea how much power his body actually has. Goblins are considered one of the strongest demon species, and even in his starter form, our boy is 10 times stronger than a regular human. If any human were in his position right now, they'd be pasted on the ground. Finally, Sue gets what the old man's trying to tell him, but 500 years? That's too much, so he asks if there is another way. The old man told him that he only has to wait for 6 months because that's when they'll choose a new demon king during the festival, and drops some lore, telling him that 600 years ago, demons could freely roam the human world, scaring people however they wanted, and all the humans could do was to run in fear and be scared of night or rely on some friendly demons who save humans from the malicious ones. So humans had mixed feelings. They either feared demons or worshipped them. But when the current demon king took the throne, he imposed the 500-year rule and forbade demons from freely entering the human world or harming humans. As a result, humans forgot about demons entirely, and they became just folklore that nobody believes in anymore. After 6 months, the current demon king loses his power and that law disappears. Every demon is waiting for this moment so they can roam the human world freely again and bring back that fear humans have forgotten. Gramps tells him he can either wait 6 months or get stronger in his demon form. Still processing everything, our boy asks what the ways are to become stronger and how much stronger he can get compared to other demons. The old man notices the sudden change in his expression and asks what's gotten into him. Standing there, he is thinking about what'll happen if these monsters start roaming the world freely, and man, he's made up his mind he's got to keep these things away from humanity. Our boy's finally thinking straight. He's sure about one thing. Once these demons get to the real world, it's game over for all of humanity. So the least he can do is protect the people who are dear to him. The old man tells him that even though he doesn't have pure goblin power, he still possesses serious strength. If he masters even half of it, there's a good chance he'll be powerful enough that no demon will dare touch his family. But wait, there's more. There's actually a chance for him to become the demon king and create that law again. This catches the attention of the female demon, who's like, there's no way in hell a half-human loser can become the demon king. Gramps finally remembers he needs to introduce her too. Her name is Silwa, and she's also participating in the festival to represent her demon species, and she's like, why bother telling her name? She wasn't interested in making friends. She then asked our boy if he is really going to take the qualification test, adding that if he goes back on his word, she'll get angry. Gramps explains to Sue that she was also in the same boat as him. Despite being younger, she wishes to visit the human world, and she's been bugging him for a long time. Silwa asks him why she needed to take that stupid test in the first place. She is better than most of the demons in transformation magic and in monster force. The old man turns to her and tells her that he knows that, and that is the real reason it's difficult to judge her qualification. To blend in with humans, she has to have patience, and self-control and basic skills won't cut it. Silwa told him that she gets what he is saying, but this better not be an excuse of his to get rid of her. The old man laughs and gives her the task of teaching Suwu the foundation of being a demon, including teaching him to camouflage since he was completely human before. If she can teach him all this, he'll approve both their entries into the human world. Seowa protests, claiming it's nearly impossible to teach everything about being a demon in just 1 month. The old man told her that if that's the case, she just has to wait 6 months, as the current law won't be applicable then, and she can go to the human world as she wishes. He then gets serious and tells her that it's her decision whether she wants to teach him or not. While he's saying this, a piece of cloth swings through the air and wraps around the old man before he vanishes. He told her that he thinks that it's quite possible to teach Suwu about being a monster. Looking at his vanished form, Seowa asks if Suwu knows anything about demon energy. Our boy answers with a big fat no, but then his expression turns horrified as he sees Big Mouth awakening behind Suwa. Big Mouth claims he'll take Suwu after defeating him this time, but Suwa finds it quite annoying that this monster is using such cheap tactics. She's just standing there all nonchalant while this beast is about to attack. And here's where we get some demon lore, folks. Unlike humans, there are huge power differences between demons because of their unique abilities. Since pure goblins have gone extinct, everyone debates over who would be the most powerful demon in Korea. But Sue is sure that if demons set aside their egos, they definitely agree that nine-tailed demons are the most powerful among them. Damn, she's basically saying, I'm the strongest here, without actually saying it. Sue realizes there's no point in being shocked by every new thing in front of him, so he does the most logical thing and accepts this situation as his new reality. Meanwhile, Seowa bursts through with light energy and a tail erupts from her back. She starts explaining demon energy to our confused boy, showing off her magical tail and breaking it down for him. She's like, this is demon magic 101 and demons need demon energy to use it. She drops some knowledge on him. There are two types of demon magic, inherent and acquired. Our boy already has inherent magic, which is that goblin wrestling that's literally in his blood, and once he gets the hang of it, he can use it as easily as breathing. As for acquired magic, anyone can use it as long as they learn it, and for that, they have to train. She binds Big Mouth with her chain magic and turns to Suwu. Look at this girl flexing on the monster. She explains that Big Mouth here, who never gained acquired magic and just relied on his big build, is now bound by her simple magic. She clearly tells him she agrees to teach him about the demon world, but she doesn't want her effort to go to waste. So if he's not ready to learn, he better speak up now. Looking at his disappointed face, she adds, and this is brutal, that she might kill him if he turns out to be useless, since it'll be too difficult for him to handle as someone who is just an ordinary human. But our boy's determined. He's ready for her teaching. She smirks at his determination and says even though she thinks he has very little chance of success, she'll take the bet. Then she starts his training with his meal. This confuses him. She explains that he needs demon energy to use magic and every demon has it, but in his case he might have no end. The food he's been eating in the human world can't produce demon energy, which means he only has whatever demon energy he had at birth. In other words, man's probably starving and doesn't even know it. He wants to argue, but suddenly his body starts trembling. She looks at his shaking hands and explains that he didn't have much demon energy to begin with, and he already used it all when he performed that one flip move. Then she gets creepy, reaching toward him and whispering in his ear that it's a rule in the demon world the official battle winner has the right to kill or spare the loser. She darkly tells him to eat Big Mouth to regain his demon energy. That's the simplest and most efficient way to get some power back. Despite looking horrified, Sue steps forward toward Big Mouth like he's being controlled by some force of nature. He feels this overwhelming urge to eat him something he's never felt before. In this moment, nothing's on his mind besides this primal hunger, but the goblin inside him is even hungrier and driven by greed. So instead of going for Big Mouth, our boy turns and rushes toward Seoh, because as the more powerful demon, she's got the highest quality nutrients that are tempting him even more. She immediately catches him and binds him in chains while scoffing that someone half-human like him had the audacity to try to eat her. She decides to teach him a lesson, but then she's baffled to see him break free from her one-tailed chains. Still trapped in his demon instincts, he tries again to get to Seowa. She pierces her finger to draw blood, forms a circle with it, and summons a great demon king. A massive fist heads towards Suwu, ready to obliterate him, followed by a lightning strike. She hopes the attack doesn't kill him, but on second thought, she doesn't care at all. After all, he was basically courting death when he chose to attack her, but then the situation was completely different from what she had thought. Her attack pushed him to the point where he awakened an inherent magic that only some goblins have the talent to learn. The horn on his head becomes a symbol of his power as a goblin. And what does our boy do? He tears the horn off his own head and looks at the she-demon with absolutely devilish eyes. Even Seowa compliments his power even though he's nothing but a half-goblin. He sure has a lot of sides to show to her, and that moment, our boy became the symbol of the goblin race. He turned his horn into a club, ready to face her in an all-out battle. Although our boy was outstanding, Silwa herself is no joke. She's a very talented demon who awakened 9 tails before she was even a century old, and that's why she immediately recognizes the power Suwu just awakened, because the Goblin Club is one of the most dangerous demon weapons that demons haven't seen for hundreds of years. She's analyzing her situation real quick. Although she has way more demon energy than Suwu lacks, his body is surging with this overwhelming power she's never experienced before. Sue is ready to strike her with the Goblin Club's Thunder Strike attack, and she's prepared to counter with her 2 tails ready. She dodges the attack, and her summoned hand grabs the Goblin Club. After surviving that first attack, she gets the hang of it and is ready to retaliate. The hand tries to completely take hold of the Goblin Club, but our boy's demon body is too persistent, holding the other edge of the weapon like his life depends on it. She decides to beat him a little longer to make him lose the weapon, but then she witnesses something that absolutely stuns her. Our guy pushes the weapon from the Demon Emperor's hand, and to the shock of the 9-tailed demon, he successfully slides it free. She can't believe he can do that against the Demon Emperor's grip. After one more pull, the weapon finally slides completely out. Then he changes the shape of the Goblin Club at will, and now she understands why goblins are considered the most powerful demons. This is some shape-shifting weapon mastery right here. He shifts the weapon again, this time into the Club of Destruction. Now she's having a hard time countering his attacks because not only has the weapon's shape changed, but its entire way of attacking has transformed too. It's like he switched from a sword build to a hammer build mid-fight. She changes tactics and summons another hand, intending to crush him with both Demon Emperor hands in a powerful strike. But he withstands this open-armed assault from her summons, which frustrates her greatly. She doesn't like how much stronger he's become, especially for a demon who's not only half-blood but also just recently awakened. However, she also notices that regardless of his power, he has very low demon energy reserves. There's a high chance he'll destroy his own body from overexertion. She decides to take matters into her own hands and boosts her energy first with 3 tails, but then decides to go up to 5 tails to defeat Suwu. She remarks that this half-goblin should be proud of himself for pushing her to reveal this much power. With 5 tails worth of energy, she summons the upper half of the Demon Emperor, ready to pound our guy into the ground. The summon attacks him with the 5-gate first attack, which finally lands. Now he's lying on the ground, the land around him completely destroyed, on the verge of losing consciousness. Cialdo walks up to him and tells him that there's a chance he might die soon since his body is exhausted and at its breaking point. This is what happens when someone like Suwu tries to take on someone like her. She's already irritated thinking about the lecture she's going to get from that old man for potentially killing the students she was supposed to teach. But then she looks at him lying there on the verge of breaking down, crying and remembering his mom. Seeing him this pathetic, she can't help but decide to help him. She gets him up and kisses him, which is apparently a way of transferring her demon energy, the one she's been saving for herself. At the end, she grunts, hoping he'll be worth her effort. Later, he's seen waking up in a room, looking at the door. The next moment, Silway enters holding a cup with a very irritated expression on her face. He looks at her nervously. The next moment, our boy is apologizing for all the chaos he just caused. He explains that even though he was fully conscious of his actions, he couldn't control his body. He just points to the drink she brought and tells him to drink it before it gets cold. He immediately tries to gulp it down, thinking it must be some kind of medical herbal tonic. But man, this thing tastes of fuel. He's struggling to swallow it and asks what the hell this is. She casually replies that knowing the ingredients will make it harder for him to swallow. She tells him to take his time as long as he finishes it. Then she points out that he lost Big Mouth since he somehow had a claim on him. The monster went into hiding, fearing Suwu would eat him as soon as he was spotted. It's the perfect form of nutrients for someone like him, but our boy's reluctant and asks for another solution. She chuckles at his naivety because he's no longer human. It's a rule for demons to get stronger by eating others. But he cuts her off, saying that killing and eating others isn't his thing. However, he also adds that there are demons who might hurt people he holds dear, so he might kill and eat if the need arises. With determination in his eyes, he tells her he'll do what he has to do. He explains he wants to know another way to gain power because he's not sure he'll get another chance at a demon. She explains there's a method to eat another demon when there's an official battle between them and the loser gets eaten by the winner. But this rule only applies in duels. Otherwise, weak demons would go extinct. The thing is, after rumors spread that he's a new goblin, weak or easy-to-hunt demons won't want to fight him. Meanwhile, he won't be able to handle stronger demons in his current state, so she got something reserved for him. She orders him to follow her, and there he finds a demon bound by her chains. He asks if it's real, and she answers it's no longer a demon because it gave in to its instincts. It committed crimes that label it more as an animal than a demon. Humans know this species as kobolds. She told him to go feed on it since it's just a beast now. As our boy was still thinking if he wanted to eat that thing or not, he sneaks up behind him without making a sound and attacks him from behind, but he swiftly dodges. Now sitting on the rooftop, she is thinking to herself how our boy acted differently from what she had thought. Instead of freezing and hesitating, he had acted instantly, causing her to think if she had underestimated him, but even she is still not convinced, as all Suwu had managed to do was run around the battlefield, while his opponent, on the other hand, was a famous demon of the Hellhound clan who foolishly kidnapped and ate another demon, causing him to go insane due to imbalanced demon energy. Now this insane demon is trying to get Suo, who doesn't consciously know how to use the demon club yet. It's clear his prey is stronger than him and Suo has no chance of winning, but Seowa intentionally does this so he can awaken his demon power, which apparently can only be awakened when he is on the brink of death. But she's shocked the next moment when she sees him fighting using boxing tactics. Sumu dodges the monster's attack and hits him with a solid punch right in the face. And just then, we are hit with a flashback. We see younger Suo in front of his instructor, who praises his natural reflexes for boxing. The instructor even offers him a chance to make a career in it. Suo replies he'll consider it after losing weight, but his instructor tells him not to worry, he'll lose weight if he sticks with boxing. Back in the present, he is kicking that monster's ass using those same boxing skills. To lose weight, Suo had learned a total of 16 sports, 7 of which were fighting sports. Though he'd only learned each sport for a short time before giving up when he didn't lose weight, his athletic goblin body absorbed all the techniques, making him a master of 7 fighting sports. So our chubby gaming boy, who couldn't stick to any sport long enough, actually became a martial arts expert without realizing it. Consequently, he's successfully fighting and beating his opponent, which truly shocks Seolwa. Finally, after beating his prey to a pulp, he wonders how the hell he's supposed to eat this thing. Man went from I don't want to hurt anyone to how do I consume this demon in like 5 minutes. Seeing him fight like this, Seolwa is convinced he's not strong enough to meet the standard because he wins the fight only using martial arts, which is a human fighting form. Besides, he just awakened but successfully combines his human techniques with his demon body. So sitting there, she's thinking that at least this boy had potential if nothing else when he turns to her and asks for the method of eating it. But she tells him the fight's not over yet. At that moment, his prey attacks him from behind and bites his shoulder. He's totally shocked to see his bleeding shoulder while the monster throws him away using his jaws and is ready to attack him again. Meanwhile, our boy is just standing there panicked, cursing that damn thing, but the monsters didn't care. It closed the gap between them in an instant and sent him flying with a punch. Seolwa analyzes his fighting and concludes that his human instincts and fear have kicked in. Humans usually fear losing their limbs during fights. That's why he's panicking. But then he's stunned to see his shoulder intact the next moment. His stomach gets scratched as well, but it heals almost instantly. Seeing this, he understands his demon body has greater durability and remarkable recovery abilities. Now he throws his human instinct for self-protection aside and focuses entirely on the fight. This shift helps him increase his physical strength too. With a swift motion, he punches his opponent far away. Even though his arms feel like they're about to break, he remains standing ready in case his opponent recovers and attacks again. But Seolwa says it's over because his powerful punch left his opponent in a weakened state, unable to recover anytime soon. Then she asks how he feels using demon energy without losing control. He's confused to learn he used demon energy. She explains there's no need to use high-level demon energy, for example, what he used to recover from injury. Secondly, the last punch he used was the perfect combination of human physical strength and demon energy. She asks him to pay attention to what he felt while using that punch. He admits he felt a spark of electricity while using it. She explains that's because he doesn't have experience using demon energy, which is why he's struggling to recognize it. That's the reason she made him fight with that beast so he could get the hang of his demon energy. She compliments his talent for using and mastering it in one go, as she initially expected him to complete it within 10 days. She then told him to finish off his prey, as it will help end its misery and pain. She explains the part above the belly button is where the energy crystal is situated and he needs to pierce that part to kill his prey. He slowly heads toward his prey and she understands it'll be difficult for him to do it for the first time. Even for eating purposes, it's difficult for most people to kill anyone. So she knows he'll hesitate, and true enough, for a second, our boy hesitates. But then he thinks about his friend and mother in the human world and finishes that beast in one clean blow. Seolwa tells him that he must have caught something in his hand. He opens his fist and finds a crystal ball there. She explains he needs to eat it to consume the demon energy of that demon. He eats it, but nothing happens. He's expecting some kind of spark or transformation. Meanwhile, he notices a crow on his shoulder and gets surprised when it starts talking. It says how this situation is weird, and normally when someone consumes demon energy, there would be an explosion or something. Suv is all surprised when the crow transforms into a female demon. Seolwa asks annoyingly about her purpose for being there since she didn't call for her. The girl complains there shouldn't be any reason for her not to meet her old friend. However, she explains she's here for business. Then she expresses her excitement about seeing the infamous half-goblin. She explains she's doing a part-time job for Gramps and came here for this purpose. She reveals that since Seolwa was the one who had caught both of the demons, she deserves a part of the reward, but she declines, saying that Suo was the one that knocked them out, so he is more than qualified to get the reward. The crow girl nods and, getting uncomfortably close to our boy, says that she has been watching him from the start, and that's why she is surprised to see how impressive our boy is, to the point that she can't believe that he was a human up until recently. Turning to Seolwa, she says that if things continue like this, Soo might become a competitor for him, but Seolwa just laughs it off, saying if that happens, he'll be taken down the second he steps foot in the festival. Seolmi grins and says that she wonders if that'll happen since Soo has great potential. She then told Soo that he can choose for his reward. Either he can go home this instant, or he can take a step forward as a strong monster. The scene shifts, and our boy Soo is back in the human world, and his friend Yusin is blowing up his phone like, "Dude, where the hell are you calling from?" But instead of explaining the whole, "Oh hey, I've been chilling in the demon world fighting monsters" thing, Soo asks for a favor. He wants Yusin to tell his mom that he's heading to Andong Village, where Yusin's family runs some martial arts centers. And bro had already planned a great excuse. "Mom, I'm just going to lose weight at my friend's dojo." But Yusin reminds him that that place doesn't just accept anybody, and you can tell he's getting suspicious. He's basically saying, "Look man, you can tell me anything, even if it sounds crazy." And right when Soo is about to spill the beans, Somin jumps in, reminding him that's a forbidden topic, my guy. You'll both get in trouble if you start talking about demon stuff. So poor Soo has to make up some lame excuse and hang up on his friend. We get this flashback showing that when Somi first gave him the choice to go home, our boy was actually pumped about it. But then he turns it down. Why? Because fighting the kobold made him realize he's still weak and needs to level up his demon game. Stomi's impressed by this very protagonist-like dialogue, but Sil was over there rolling her eyes like, this is all BS. Turns out it was basically a personality test. You know how humans do those "what type of bread are you?" quizzes? Well, demons apparently do say, "Will you abandon your training to go home?" tests. Then Somi asks Seolwa if she read the book she gave her, and Seol was like, "I couldn't get past page 1. It's too childish." This upsets Somi, especially since she literally wrote that book to help her understand human personalities. She sighs and tells Seolwa that she is free to do whatever she likes and that she is going to borrow Soo for some time. She plans on taking him somewhere for a bit. Somi transforms into her giant crow form. Turns out that Somi is basically an interdimensional Uber driver. She can bring demons to the human world for a day every 6 months. She then tells our boy to brace himself since he might feel nauseated, and grabs him in her talons and flies away while Seolwa watches and leave. Back in the present, Soo returns her phone thanking her for bringing him to the real world, saying due to her, his worries have been alleviated to some extent. She asks if that was it. Should he call a few more friends and want to visit his family in one time before he leaves? But he's like, nah, just got my mom and she's on a business trip anyway. Then our boy offers to cook for her, and when they're eating, she drops that she goes to Hojong School, the one right next to his. She also mentions she doesn't have many close friends, which honestly surprises Soo because she seems like the type who'd have a whole squad following her around after they finish the meal. She compliments our boy's cooking skills, and then she gives him this storage scroll that works like a smartphone and backpack hybrid. It's basically an interdimensional fanny pack, which sounds incredibly useful. Inside there are 40 demon coins, his own storage scroll, and something called a demon treasure bead that's loaded with demon energy that can display various abilities by imbuing monster force in it like in the old folk tales. She adds that typically they only give out the demon coins as a reward, but Gramps had especially told her to give him the other things, which means Gramps has high hopes for our boy. Soo asks if her high hopes probably mean for the festival to pick the king of the monster. Somi nods and tells him that although they aren't as foolish as humans and don't follow most of the human rules, they do feel a sense of belonging towards their region, so they want a Korean demon king representing them, and apparently the last Korean candidate almost beat the current king by a hair. And guess what? That guy was also a goblin. So now everyone's probably placing bets on our boy Soo, like he's some kind of supernatural racehorse. The funny part is Soo didn't even know there was a goblin until yesterday, and now people are expecting him to become demon royalty. He told her that everything feels like a dream and he really wishes to wake up from it if possible. Somi gets surprised by what he said because our boy was adapting to his new reality, saying that if he was afraid, the monsters would threaten the human existence, and if he really wants to protect humans, he might as well become king and keep the current laws that protect them. Soo points to the scroll beside her and tells her that it has been flashing like crazy for some time, wanting to know if that is normal. Somi brushes it off, saying it's just an emergency summon for when demons break the law in the human world. She's like, don't worry, that never happens, but then she stops mid-sentence, realizing that it truly was an emergency summon as she panics. Later that night, Soo is back home checking out his new demon rewards, trying to figure out how the hell to use any of this stuff. After messing around with the scroll for a bit, he puts on that demon bead item, wondering if it's going to work for offense or defense. He decides he'll just ask Somi when she gets back, but when he checks the time, man, only a few minutes are left before they're supposed to head back to the demon world. They'd arrived in the human world at 4 p.m., and at 6 she'd left for some emergency summons. Before she took off, she even asked him to call her by her name since they're friends now. But now it's past 10 p.m., and our boy's starting to get worried. He's kicking himself for not getting her number like an idiot. While he's sitting there waiting, he starts looking at this picture of his father and puts two and two together. The goblin blood probably comes from his dad's side since the guy was an athlete and all. Plus, he remembers Gramps telling him that he's already fourth or fifth generation with very little goblin blood left. Meanwhile, way across town from his house, there's this demon chasing after some poor human and about to finish him off when Salmon arrives just in time. She shoots a spell at the thing to stop it, but she's worried about losing all her feathers since there are so many of these lower demons crawling around everywhere. She rushes over to the human trying to console him, telling the guy that his friend's going to be okay since she's been treating him as she has already called for an ambulance. But of course, another demon appears right behind her. Someone eliminates that demon while giving Somi grief, commenting that her soul clan would be totally ashamed if she got taken down by such weak lower demons.